Hello everyone. Previously we had discussed on the topic this one decorators and the higher order functions, right? So today we'll be discussing on the closures and lexical scoping. So let's get into the definition part first. So what does the closures and lexical scoping definition say here? A closure is a function. A closure is a function object that remembers variable from its enclosing scope, even if the scope is no longer active. Again, a closure is a function object that remembers variables from its enclosing scope, even if that scope is no longer active. So what does the lexical scope say here? Lexical scoping means that a function remembers the variables where it was defined, not where it was called. It will remember the variables where it was defined, not where it was called. So this is it for the closures and the lexical scoping. Simple. So let's discuss some of the points before getting into the example part, right? So Python uses lexical scope here, meaning inner functions capture variables defined in the surrounding scope, right? So meaning inner functions capture variables defined in the surrounding scope. So what is a closure? What does the closure do then? A closure occurs when an inner function uses a variable from the outer function. A closure occurs when an inner function uses a variable from the outer function and the outer function has finished execution. And that outer function has finished execution. Right. Sorry. So this is about the closures and the lexical scoping. So let's see the same thing with a very simple example. Right, so I'll just go with a very simple example here. So let me go with def. So I'll just go with the outer function here. Let me pass the parameter message. Let me pass the parameter message. So this is fine. This is just the outer function that takes a message. Again, line number 8, whatever I have given, whatever we are considering, outer function named outer, right? So this is nothing but the outer function that takes a message. Now let's go with the inner function that is defined inside the outer. So I'll just give the name inner here. Inner. This is fine. I'll just give the name inner. So outer function and the inner function we have, right? So this is fine. Now inner function uses the message from the outer scope. Inner function uses the message from the outer scope. Let's see the same thing here. Let me print here message. So here we don't need colon. I'll just give message. So here we can go with the colon message. Let me pass the message, right? So here inner function uses the message, the parameter message that we have considered, right? So inner function uses the message from the outer scope, right? So that's what we are doing here. Again, let's return the inner function. Nothing but we are creating a closure here. Nothing but we are creating a closure here. We are just returning the inner function. So I'll just go with return inner, return inner. So this is fine. This is fine. We are done with the we are done with this code. So let's create a closure now. So outer returns inner, which still remembers message. We know this one. Outer returns inner, which still remembers message, means I can write it in this way. Greet equals uh, outer we have given, right? Function name outer. So let me pass something within the strings. So let me give here hello from closure. Hello from closure. This is fine. Here outer function returns inner function which still remembers message, and let's call the inner function now. I'll just give greet. I'll just give greet here, right? So this is it for the, we have successfully created a closure now. So the output that we need to get here is message, this one message followed by the message hello from closure. That's what output that we need to get here, right? So let me run the code. Python followed by the file name, this one closures and lexical scope.py. So see here, we are getting the output message hello from closure, right? So the code works absolutely correct. So what we are doing here, basically outer function what we are considering here in the line number 8, this returns inner with a message still attached. This returns inner with a message still attached. Even though outer function has finished, inner function still has access to the message that we are passing here, this one hello from closure, the line number 13, right? So due to the closure basically, right? So this is possible because of the lexical scoping. This is possible because of the lexical scoping. What does the lexical scope do? Lexical scope definition says that a lexical scope means that a function remembers the variables where it was defined, not where it was called. Where it was defined, not where it was called, right? So this is possible because of the lexical scoping, where the function remembers the environment where it was defined. Function remembers the environment where it was defined, right? So this is it for the this one, closure and lexical scoping part, right? So let me summarize whatever we have learned so far. So what does closures do? Closures let inner function remember values from the outer scopes. This we know, right? So just keep this in mind. Three important points I'll say. The second one is closures are mainly useful for the callback functions, decorators, or function factories, right? So closures are useful for callback functions, decorators, or function factories, even the lexical scoping, basically, right? So what does lexical scoping do? Lexical scoping powers closure behavior in Python. So it is fueled by, basically closures are fueled by lexical scoping, right? Lexical scoping powers closure behavior in Python. So that's what lexical scoping does here. So it fuels the closure. So this is it for the closures and lexical scoping. So next we'll be discussing on the context management and with statement both, right? So for now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.